Well, it is the day so many people across our area have been dreading. DC's 3 giant pandas are leaving the National Zoo for good.
Oh, yes. They are heading back to China today. We knew it was going to happen, right? Although the exact date was kept a secret. The news had panda fans just simply flocking to say goodbye to the bears, who have long been one of the zoo's main attractions. And we say good morning and welcome to our special live coverage. I'm Millette Green.
And I'm Jumia Labanji. Good morning to you. You know, the scene at the zoo right now, you're seeing this shot right here, looks a little empty. There are a lot of people there as this is going on. This has been planned for months now.
So well planned, right? To get us all ready for this day. Zookeepers, they have been preparing the staff and the pandas for this big trip for weeks. And we've got our Juliana Valencia live at the zoo with what we have been seeing over the last 2 hours and what to expect to happen next as we cart them off into a plane back to China. Juliana, what a bittersweet day.
Yeah. It is. We've been saying goodbye to them essentially all year, but it's sad to see them finally go. And you know, there's a lot of coordination that goes into place to make this transport happen. And we've actually seen Meishan. Meishan was the first to go off in those crates. And most importantly, you have to make sure these pandas are prepared for this 19-hour journey. Now, zookeepers tell me that they have been getting the pandas ready, doing training exercises to get them comfortable with going inside those crates to get ready for this 19-hour journey. So they've been training Meishan, Tiantian, and Xiao Qiji to get them comfortable with this. Now, Mom Meishan was the first to be carried out. If you're seeing here, it's in those crates. Unfortunately, it's tough to see in those holes, but she's right in there. She left about 8 this morning, followed by Tiantian, and we were waiting for 3-year-old Xiao Qiji to go next.
Everyone keeps asking me how I feel. And this is a hard morning. It's been a hard week and it's been a hard morning. But ultimately, our focus today is on the safe transport of these animals to China. And it's a moment of joy because this is one more step in 50 years of a successful giant panda conservation program.
China will continue to work closely with cooperation partners, including the United States, on the conservation and research of endangered species and biodiversity protection.
You'll remember our pandas are on loan with China, so we're not quite sure when we'll be able to have the pandas return, but the goal as far as the transport for today is we're running a little bit behind schedule, but once all 3 are loaded onto these specially marked FedEx trucks, they will head off to Dulles, and there that 19-hour journey begins with 1 stop in Alaska to refuel because it is a long journey. But hey, the pandas, don't worry, they are not going to go hungry. They have 220 pounds of bamboo on board for the journey. They also have some apples and pears, and you know, in case they get a little nervous, they're going to have 2 zookeepers with them as well as a veterinarian for that journey.
Yeah, a lot of planning to get them ready. And those crates are big enough for them to really move around, right, Juliana? They may look a little tight, you know, when you're looking at the TV, but you're there, you could see just how big the crate is for them.
Yeah, Juliana, before we let you go this morning.
No, you can.
Oh, well, I was going to say you talked to Dr. Brandy Smith, the zoo director, kind of what's next for the zoo program in terms of now that the pandas are leaving the zoo. What did she tell you?
Yeah, actually, the zoo is in the middle of a $2.5 million renovation for the panda enclosure, and those plans are still happening. They expect to finish those renovations in the next 8 to 10 months. They say right now they're going to take a breath, kind of say their goodbyes to the pandas, finish those renovations, and if there's no word on the pandas returning after that 10-month time frame, then they're going to see if they can put some other animals in the panda enclosure temporarily. And you know, for folks, if they didn't get a glimpse of the pandas here to say goodbye, the only other place in the U.S. that you can now see pandas is at the Atlanta Zoo.
But not for long. They're leaving there next year.
Yeah.
So get your tickets to Atlanta if you want to go see those
Yeah, that's true.
pandas. Yeah. Juliana Valencia. We're going to check back in with you in just a bit. Thank you so much.
You know, we're continuing to kind of watch what's been happening at the zoo, but we do want to remind you a little bit about the 3 pandas that are leaving today.
Okay, so Tien arrived in 2000. He's 26 years old. His name means more and more.
And we wish we had more and more of the pandas.
Oh.
There's Mei Zhang. She arrived in the year 2000 as well, 25 years old. Her name means beautiful fragrance.
And then Chao Chi-ji, born in 2020, 3 years old. His name means little miracle. Jimmy, I remember when there was the whole decision of, you know, which names do you like or which name do you pick for Chao Chi-ji, and that was really fun because everybody got to, you know, have a say in the naming of the baby.
And 3 years ago, I mean, 2020, we were in the middle of the pandemic and everyone was so excited. And it took a while for us, because of the lockdowns, to be able to see Chao Chi-ji and the rest of the panda crew. So
it was one of the best things when you could be able to go and see these spectacular bears that so many of us have just fallen in love with.
Yes, and we've watched them on the panda cams. We all, you know, have grown so close to the pandas during their time in DC. Those 2 parents, they have been here, I mean, if you can imagine, almost a quarter century.
Oh my goodness, but their keepers, you know, really developed a very special relationship with them. We spoke to some of the zoo's panda keepers about what this departure means to them.
I mean, this has been my career for almost 30 years, and I don't know what a day is like without working with pandas, so that's going to be a huge, huge change, so it's going to be hard.
It's an emotional time for sure. It's personal, you know, I've worked with them for nearly 23 years and I've loved every minute of it. So it'll be hard to say goodbye, but I'm happy that they get to enjoy their retirement in their homeland, and I know they'll do great there. They're fantastic bears, and I've enjoyed all the memories that I've made with them over the years.
I'm definitely have a mix of feelings. So I'm excited, I'm nervous, and definitely, you know, I'm sad the pandas are leaving. So it's a massive, you know, career highlight for me to get to do this trip. But I also know that, you know, at the end of this trip, I'll be coming back to the zoo and they won't be here. So it's a lot of mixed emotion.
The one-on-one relationship is probably the best part of my job. You know, they definitely look to us for comfort. They know us really well and they trust us. So in a time of kind of stress where, you know, they're in this place where they don't know what's going on, I suspect they will come and sit next to us and, you know, look to us for calming reassurance.
You know, I end every night telling them good night, I'll see you tomorrow. So I might just do that. Even though I won't see them tomorrow, I might just keep up the tradition.
Oh, the emotion in their voices.
Yes, that's really tough. Oh my goodness. We wish them well as they, you know, they have that personal connection one-on-one. If you miss saying goodbye to the pandas, well, our Tommy McFly is working on a way for you to express your feelings and send your well wishes.
That's right, Tommy, a big fan of the pandas. He's outside the zoo right now with more on what's going on outside. Is anybody kind of gathering there, Tommy, trying to get a glimpse as they're leaving?
Oh yeah, Jimmy Millette, we've got panda people here already. People are here, how's it going? It's not a very happy crowd. We're a little sad about the pandas. I'm not crying, you're crying. But what we're seeing here, we're at the corner of Connecticut and Panda. These gates keep opening. This is where the pandas will be leaving in just a little bit. But the gates open and we're all like, is it the pandas? No, it's not the pandas. Is it the pandas? No, it's not the pandas. But people have been gathered here already since they heard the news around 7 this morning. Angie, I want to bring you into the convo with Frankie and Mona. You are from out of town?
Yeah, we are from Minneapolis, St. Paul.
And your panda visit did not quite go the way you thought the panda visit would go.
It did not. We got here yesterday afternoon and arrived this morning, and they're closed. So, yeah.
And Frankie, this is your panda. What's your panda's name?
Panda, and his middle name is Panda, and his last name is Panda.
Oh, Panda, Panda, Panda. Why do you love pandas so much?
I have no idea. The only thing I know is that I have loved them since I was 1 year old.
Oh, and now you're here to see them make their way out. I'm sorry you didn't get to see them, bud.
I'm going to cry when they leave.
I think a lot of us are. Well, you're here on this corner for this very special day. People are just gathering as they're showing up, which is wild because you have like the DC runners who are just annoyed they can't go through the zoo this morning. But then also panda people are showing up. Are you panda people? What's going on? What's your name?
Janet.
Janet and
Kay.
Kay, why did you have to be out here this morning already?
This was the day we planned to come, and then we found out that they're leaving today, so we want to wish them a good voyage home.
All right, and what are you thinking about not being able to see them in person? I'm so sorry.
We're just sending good wishes with them on their travels.
That's very kind of you. Yeah, so we're doing this all day. It's kind of this moment like, you know, when you're waiting on that FedEx package to show up at your front door and you're like, it should be here soon. So that's what we're doing here at the gate. As soon as the pandas make their way out, we will let you know about that. But if you can't join us here at the zoo and you can't be part of this crowd today, we have an awesome way. Take a look for you to get involved on social media. Go to @NBC Washington or at Mr. Tommy McFly on Instagram. We have these panels that are up that you can download, write your message of love to the pandas, and then post and tag us. We're going to be out here all day right across from the zoo. If you're familiar, it's where Baked by Yael Cake Pop Shop is. We have wrapped an entire clock tower that you can sign a message and send some love to the pandas. We're going to bring you some visuals of that a little later on. But right now, Jimmy and Millette, we're hanging here. We're waiting. People are patient. People, you know, pretty pleasant despite the giant panda hole in our heart. Back to you.
I know. I feel bad for our little friend there who came from out of town with his panda stuffed animal. Hopefully he gets that glimpse.
It's tough. He's been a fan since he was 1 year old, he said.
Tommy, thank you. We'll see you in just a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I mean, take a look. So this is some video. We want to take a quick second to remind you of what's happening at the zoo right now. Juliana Valencia told us a few minutes ago, but the two adult pandas, Tian Tian and Mei Zhang, have already been loaded into their separate white crates. You see one of them there on your screen. In a little bit, those crates will make the trip from downtown D.C. to Dulles Airport out in Chantilly. We're still waiting on the 3-year-old, the cub, so to speak, Xiao Ji, and then they will begin that trip.
Yeah, and it will be quite a trip ahead for them as they make their way back to China. But this is really quite a sight to see and something that the zoo has been working on for weeks to get to this point, get them ready and crate trained for the 19-hour flight that's ahead of them.
Yes, and someone who knows about travel and Dulles Airport, let's head to News 4's Joseph Olmo. He is live at Dulles International Airport, where they are waiting for the pandas as well. Joseph.
Hey, Jimmy, you know, millions of people fly out of Dulles International Airport every year. There are tons of cargoes that fly out of this airport as well, but certainly no passengers or cargo quite like what we're going to see in a couple of hours from now. Make no mistake, there have been panda flights into and out of Dulles Airport before, but they certainly don't happen every day. So let's get to it. Let's talk about that plane. It is about half an hour away right now. This is a Boeing 777 aircraft that is going to be taking these pandas on this 19-hour flight from Dulles all the way over to Chengdu, China, with a quick fueling stop in Alaska. This aircraft, very, very big one. We are told the only things that are going to be inside of this aircraft are the people flying it, the crew, Smithsonian zookeepers, and then the 3 pandas themselves. And like Juliana said, how about this for in-flight service? Over 200 pounds of bamboo. I wonder how much they're charging for that. Take a listen to FedEx. We were able to talk to them shortly before this flight on exactly how it's going to work.
We have a team in Memphis, Tennessee, Washington, D.C., and in China that are working together collaboratively to ensure that the proper steps and necessary precautions have been taken to ensure their safety throughout their journey. Some of those measures include having a FedEx loadmaster attend the flight, so he will be able to ensure that the cargo section of the aircraft conditions remain favorable throughout the entire journey. We will have the Smithsonian bringing their animal care experts to monitor the pandas as well. And we have special FedEx facilities at each participating airport that will be engaged to ensure that the animals remain well cared for. We also are including the custom-built shipping enclosures to ensure that the pandas have plenty of room to kind of move around and be in comfort during their journey. And as you know, they will also be the only cargo in flight.
They're the only cargo in flight indeed, guys. I'm looking at Flight Radar 24 right now, a flight tracking site. That aircraft is just crossing the border between West Virginia and Virginia, about 25 minutes away from landing here at Dulles. And of course, we will have our eyes on it and bring you right back here to Dulles Live once wheels are down. Back to you.
Joseph Olmo, thank you so very much. We want to go back to our live picture. This is Xiao Ji's crate. The baby, 3 years old, a toddler,
yes,
who is headed to be loaded onto the transport so he can also join Meishan and Tiantian as they travel back to China today. Live look there from the National Zoo. And that crate is big enough for him to play and to eat and to just kind of enjoy this 19-hour flight.
Yeah, going to be a long flight. Juliana Valencia, we're watching the live pictures right now. We see all the media. You are amongst all the reporters there. Give us a kind of feel of what it's like right now.
I mean, I just saw the crate go by us. I was trying to peek inside, but Xiao Qiji, you know, he's a little baby cub, so I think he was more in the corner there. Those the holes for the crates are about this big, so it's a little tough to see inside, but there's plenty of room for the pandas to be able to move around, and he is the last one to go. So now, once he gets to the FedEx truck, we've got all 3 pandas loaded up. Then the next steps is going to be making sure they are secure to then drive out and go to Dulles. And we have at least three different FedEx trucks, and they are specially marked. So around town, if you see a FedEx truck with a panda on it, you know either Xiao Qiji, Tiantian, or Meishan are inside one of those trucks. But a very exciting and bittersweet day here at the zoo. You know, they have about 20,000 pounds of bamboo on board, so they're going to be okay. You have 2 zookeepers with them as well as a veterinarian to make sure that the flight goes well, because it is 19 hours. That is a long flight with 1 stop in Alaska to refuel. But again, bittersweet day here at the zoo. We just saw the last panda, baby cub, Xiao Qiji, leave us. So I'll let Jimmy.
That was kind of emotional to see. I mean, the last panda.
I know.
Leaving the zoo officially.
This is it for our National Zoo.
It is. I mean, okay.
Go ahead, Juliana.
It is. I was actually here to say bye-bye to Bebe. Then we had the birth of Xiao Qiji, so that was very special. We kind of had some comfort there. And then this year, you know, the zoo was really preparing folks. We had Panda Palooza, we had the birthday party. So the zoo was trying to make events to help people have enough time to come and say their goodbyes.
All right. Well, Juliana Valencia, thank you. We'll check back in a little bit. We did ask the National Zoo Director, Dr. Brandy Smith, about whether giant pandas will be coming back to DC, because that's what we want.
Sure,
we want more.
Yeah, it's our second round. We had the first ones in the 70s, Ling Lang, Sing Sing, and then they left, and now we've got these new ones. They left, and so here is what the zoo director told News 4 Panda expert on Yang back in October.
When Ling Ling and Xing Xing passed away, we did have a year without giant pandas. So we have that in our history. But there's something about these animals, and I think how much our city has fallen in love with these particular animals. For me, you know, it's the end of an era, but I also think that it's an opportunity to think of what's next. What are our next 50 years going to hold?
Any clues as to what that might be?
Well, we definitely want to bring giant pandas back here. I'm always amazed at how they've become a symbol for Washington, D.C. You know, these iconic Chinese animals are now a big symbol for our nation's capital. And so I can't let our visitors down, but we also can't let our city down right now. But we are absolutely committed to having pandas in the future. We're going to continue our giant panda conservation programs, and we are committed to bringing pandas back here to the National Zoo.
Yeah, and hopefully we can continue this relationship, and maybe China will send us another panda or 2 in the future.
We need that panda diplomacy to reconnect.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And you know, Dr. Smith says the zoo will continue to utilize the space that's in the panda exhibit that we've all come to know and love. But you know, while there's no one in there, we will undergo some improvements.
Yeah, they need to renovate and get it ready for the next panda set that will come.
Yeah.
We're just keeping it positive, like it's going to happen. We're claiming it. And the zoo will continue to sell panda merchandise, right, to benefit its panda conservation program.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
Well,
this is the live look at the zoo entrance. We can see all the crowd of people gathered there on the corner. It's going to get quite busy soon. Tommy McFly is out there talking to the panda crowd, the people. It's sad that some of those people in the crowd, they didn't get their chance, Tommy, to say goodbye in person. They got so close.
No, and the Yeah, so close. Missed it by hours, Millette. And we've got the Panda people out here. I'm sort of relaying your info and Juliana's info. I'm like, number 3's loaded. They're idling. We're getting ready. But we're talking to people all morning here as we're waiting for that gate to open and those Pandas to make their way out onto Connecticut Avenue. You had the same story, right? You were trying to get here to see the Pandas?
Yes, we came from Phoenix with my daughter and son and excited, and we just missed them. Yeah.
Can we share that you missed them by a day? What were you doing yesterday that you didn't come yesterday?
We went to see the monuments. We woke up late, realized the panda feeding was at 9. We're like, we'll see it tomorrow. Went to see the monuments, and now today, but we get this special experience of saying goodbye.
You're very glass half full. That's good.
Yes, hopefully.
Was it your idea or the husband's idea to go see the monuments yesterday?
Oh, it was mine, unfortunately.
Well, you'll have this experience that you wouldn't have gotten had you gone yesterday.
Exactly. Yes. So we're grateful for today. Grateful we at least get to see them go by. But I saw them when I was young, when it was Ling Ling and Sing Sing, and so wanted to share that same experience with my kids.
Are you and the fam already planning the Atlanta trip now?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
There you go. I think Atlanta owes DC like a real debt of gratitude because we're sending so many people down there now to go see their Pandas while we've still got them. And as we're waiting for the door to open, as we're waiting for those gates to open, I would be remiss to say that Basil the One-Eyed Possum from Virginia is still going to be here. So the winner of our zoo bracket, at least we got that going for us. You can check him out in the Small Mammal House. This is a growing crowd. As you can see, Nick Leinbach, our photog, is going to show you all the way down. People are making their way as they're hearing the info. People are just walking up Connecticut Avenue, too, going about their lives. And they're like, what's happening? The Pandas are leaving? So that's how we're gathering these people here. And we're going to be seeing these Pandas roll out of here in just a bit. And I will continue being the town crier, sharing the info that I hear from you to our folks here as we're getting ready for this really, really special but pretty sad Panda moment. Millette, back to you.
It really is. Tommy, thank you. We appreciate you working for the viewers out there and passing along that important information as we get it.
That's right. I do.
Thanks, Jimmy.
And the people are going to hang out there until those gates open, so we love that. As we continue to follow the farewell to our 3 Pandas, there has been joy and sadness during the Pandas' history at the National Zoo.
Yeah, remember Ling Ling gave birth to the first Panda cub born in the U.S. That was back in 1983. Here's a bit of a look back.
Flourished at the National Zoo.
All right, we'll get to that in just a second. Yes. So what we know is all 3 have been loaded up into their individual crates, and so we are waiting for those gates to open out at the zoo so we can see them head off into the FedEx trucks to Dulles Airport. So let's look back at that history, sad and happy, of the Pandas at the zoo.
At the National Zoo, and as they grew, breeding became a top priority. There were false alarms.
One of the keepers observed what they thought might have been a pile of bamboo, which was arranged in the shape of a nest.
By 1980, the Pandas should have been parents, but Ching Ching, the male, was saying no. In 1981, a male from London, Cha Cha, was brought in to help, but Ling Ling said to Cha Cha. Through the fruitless years, panda mania grew, the masses waiting anxiously last year as the zoo tried artificial insemination, and nothing happened.
This is the backyard of the Panda House here at the National Zoo. It was almost 4 months ago to the day, on a rainy, blustery March Friday, that we were standing here witnessing what zoo officials believed was the first successful mating between Ling Ling and Xing Xing. Back then, even after artificial insemination 3 days later, zoo officials weren't sure that Ling Ling was pregnant. They weren't really sure until very early this morning. It wasn't until 3:18 this morning, as a matter of fact, that zoo officials became certain. At that time, Ling Ling gave birth. At a news conference, they made available and played a videotape of the night's events. Early in the evening, Ling Ling could be seen continuing what seemed like nesting preparations, growing more restless and more vocal. Then later, as she lay on her back, contractions could be seen. Then, to the surprise of the observers, and so quickly that if you blinked, you'd miss it, she delivered the baby. Eventually, it started squirming and squealing and trying to get up on its front paws. Ling Ling, very naturally, picked it up in her mouth, and zoo officials were impressed with her maternal instincts.
Her behavior with the young during the 3 hours that the young was alive was very attentive and as appropriately maternal as we could imagine it would be.
It was about 6:30 a.m. that observers noticed that the baby cub had stopped moving and breathing. It had died. Officials don't know why. Although saddened by the cub's death, officials are optimistic that Ling Ling will give birth again. They now know that she can become pregnant and has now experienced birth and mothering. They and she will try again next spring.
We have followed all of the emotion, the ups and the downs of trying to bring panda cubs.
Yeah, I mean,
and
Ling Ling never, all the cubs, I think she had 5 of them. They never were alive for more than a few days, and that's why this conservation program is so important.
Very important.
With the artificial insemination, you never really know a panda's pregnant until they give birth. It's not like, you know, humans where we get the ultrasounds all the time and you can track it all. It's just baby comes one day.
Baby pops out. And I think there are only, what, 1,600 existing right now. And so, you know, the conservation process has to continue.
Yeah.
Well, you know, our 3 pandas, because they're ours, right? They're ours. They do have quite a trip ahead of them.
They really do. It's a trans-Pacific flight to China. Lasts over 19 hours, including a stop to refuel out in Alaska. Joseph Omo's live at Dulles International Airport right now, where they are awaiting the pandas. Joseph, they haven't left the zoo just yet, but we know eventually they'll head down Connecticut Avenue and be going your way.
Yeah, they'll be heading our way very, very shortly. I have the flight tracking site, Flight Radar 24, up right now. It shows that the 777, this big Boeing aircraft that's going to be transporting these pandas all the way to Chengdu, China. It is just 7 minutes away from landing at Dulles International Airport right now. It is not the FedEx aircraft right here behind me. These are just normal FedEx aircraft. The Panda Express, as FedEx is calling it, is on its way. And again, going to land in the next 5 to 7 minutes here on that runway, actually right behind that FedEx plane. So we're going to have a really, really good view of it live on News 4. When it lands, it's going to turn off of one of those taxiways there and park pretty much right in front of us, guys. So you mentioned it, a 19-hour journey. We have a fueling stop in Alaska. We are told that the pandas won't be alone. There's going to be zookeepers and there's going to be FedEx personnel there to make sure that everything goes smoothly. But yeah, 200 plus pounds of bamboo to get them through this 19-hour flight. Let's listen more now from FedEx about what this flight really means.
I've supported the Smithsonian's National Zoo in originally bringing over Meishong and Tiantian in 2000 from China. In addition, we've also supported sending back several of their cubs. We moved Taishan, and that was in 2010, Bao Bao in 2017, and Bei Bei in 2019, back to China.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is a bird's eye view right now. These are just 2 of the roughly 10 cars that are parked here on top of this garage parking lot right now to get a great view. That lady right there with her phone recording, she tells me she's gone to the National Zoo several times. Every day, you say, for the past 6 months? That's crazy. She's going to miss she's originally from China. She's certainly going to miss the pandas, and so she's out here. She told me that she's already been out here for 4 hours on top of this garage parking lot watching planes. You know, I am a geek when it comes to aviation. I love watching planes. I don't know if I could do it for 8 hours long, but certainly a highly anticipated arrival here. This Boeing 777 aircraft just minutes away from landing on the runway right here behind me. And of course, we will bring you that moment live. That plane going to carry the pandas 19 hours, roughly, what, 10,000 miles across the globe to Chengdu, China. So we'll check back in with you guys in a couple minutes when it lands.
Yeah, Joseph, before we let you go, I have a question. Where are you at Dulles? I mean, I was going to ask, can people come up and view this? You've got some cars there. So where are you? Are you anywhere near the passenger terminals?
Or is it a secret, Joseph?
Millette, all of my aviation photography fans are going to get upset with me because this is like the secret spot. If we can pan the camera this way, Indira, if you don't mind, just to show, this is a line of professional aviation photographers who come here to take really, really cool pictures of planes. They come up to garage number 2 here at Dulles Airport all the time because it's right up against one of the main runways here at the airport where some of these big planes take off all day long. You see one of the big cameras there in that gentleman's hand there. They're all here because this is a special FedEx plane. Not going to look like the majority of them with the big white and purple and orange letters. It's going to have some sort of special paint job. We don't know exactly what it's going to look like, if it's going to be like the ones that we've seen previously or something a little bit different. But this is on top of garage number 2, totally publicly accessible. And if anybody from the aviation photography community is watching me right now, I'm so sorry. But yeah, this is a really good viewing spot of all the planes here at one of the main runways here at Dulles International Airport.
Joseph Olmo, thank you. You may see some action pretty soon. Let's go back to our shot there at Connecticut Avenue where Tommy McFly is. And Tommy, tell us what you're seeing happening right now.
Hey, we see a big group of police making their way up to the gate. The gates are slowly opening. It is not a motorcade for a president or well, it is a dignitary. It is the Pandas. But this is the kind of presence you'd usually see up on Connecticut Avenue when we're getting ready for a motorcade to make their way on through. We have law enforcement over here stopping some traffic already. We got some lights going. We have MPD making their way out, and we are seeing what is going to be the beginning of this procession. The first MPD vehicle is making their way out. This has been sitting here for about an hour now, and we're looking ahead to see some movement all the way down the street. So we've got the zoo closed sign. You look through the gates. We're making our way. We're trying to get that first glimpse of some movement down past those weeds and past those plants that are up there. If you're familiar with the zoo, this is where you would turn in off of Connecticut Avenue and make your way down into the parking lots. That's where they've been loaded up, and that's where we are waiting to see some movement here. We've got some MPD getting ready to block some traffic. Folks who are making their way down Connecticut Avenue, I'm sure, are just like, well, what is going on right now? And the crowd, too, as we are showing you, is growing. People are hearing about this. They're making their way out. They're wanting to see that last glimpse of the Pandas as they make their way out. So we, in just the last minute or so, have seen this extended presence. We're obviously getting ready for them to make their way out.
So
MPD
Tommy,
here.
Tommy, if you could
Yeah, go ahead.
Tell us what Connecticut Avenue, what are they doing with Connecticut Avenue in terms of traffic?
Yeah, I'm going to ask Nick Leinbach, my photographer, to peek out here on Connecticut Avenue. We've got MPD closing off Connecticut Avenue, which would be southbound, making their way down across the bridge toward the National Zoo. So traffic is stopped that way. There's just about 5 or 6 cars who are still inside that perimeter. They're being waved on through. And I think once we have all those cars on through, that may be a signal that we're really close, imminent from having this moment.
Yeah.
And it's the same as you would see for a motorcade, Millette and Jumi. We've got MPD blocking Connecticut Avenue where people are going to be, not able to continue down for a moment. So Washingtonians, we're used to this as far as traffic goes, and we're still seeing traffic flowing northbound. We see this Metro bus making their way toward, it would be Connecticut Avenue toward the Beltway. We're seeing some traffic still moving,
Tommy,
but
quick
we are
question
seeing
for
more
you.
cars with their lights on showing up. Yep.
So I know police are used to those presidential motorcades and for other maybe dignitaries from ambassadors and things. Have you talked to any of the MPD officers? Is this a kind of fun assignment for them to be escorting the Pandas?
They're looking very serious today. No one's really interested in chatting because the Panda is a motorcade. We get a presidential motorcade every day, but the Panda motorcade, that is 50 years in the making. So everyone is on point. Everyone is very serious about the job at hand, that they are ready to go. We also got our tower cam up here. You can, if you want to take a look at that, you can see the corner of Connecticut Avenue where you can see MPD is making their way further in. And if we're looking down, we're seeing coming out of the zoo the first MPD motorcycle with the lights on, coming very slow, making their way up. And it looks as though it's like a real motorcade. We're seeing a few motorcycles doing that very slow roll out of the zoo. The first motorcycles making their way out of the gates right now, Jumi and Millette. I'm seeing half a dozen, and there's the FedEx truck. Absolutely. There's the truck making its way.
Yeah,
a second truck we see in view.
Okay, we see it, Tommy.
And truck number 3 is now in view.
Wow. Well, there they go. We know that at least the order they went into the trucks, into the crates, we had Mei Zhang first, then Tian Tian, and the baby cub, Chao Chi-ji, bringing up the rear. So maybe that's the order they're in right now.
Yeah.
What's it like, Tommy?
I think it could be. And these trucks are making a left out of the zoo, which last time we had Pandas leave, they made a right toward the Beltway. They are now making a left out of the zoo, going past that main zoo entrance. as they're making their way down Connecticut Avenue, which will be, if you're heading downtown, if you're familiar with the city, they're heading more toward DuPont Circle, more toward the White House.
Oh, wow. Tommy, can you talk to some of the folks out there? I see cell phones out. People are waving. How is it?
Yeah. Cell phones out. Are you waving? What are you thinking about seeing the pandas in their vehicles?
Yeah, I'm going to miss them.
What's your name?
Say bye. Connor Lugo Harris.
Hey, I'm Tommy. We're live on NBC4. Why did you have to be out here today? Why did you, make the trip?
I just, I've grown up in the D.C. area, and I thought it was right to say goodbye to D.C. part of our family.
Do you have photos in your phone of visits to see the pandas in the past?
Oh my gosh, probably from so long ago. As I'm like, man, I really should have seen them a lot more while I was here. I took advantage of it. Now
you have that moment, you don't know what you got till it's gone.
Yeah, exactly. So it was good to be able to kind of pay tribute by coming out today. So
watching those FedEx trucks make their way out, was it everything you thought it would be? Is this closure for you?
I hope so. It was a little anticlimactic, but it's definitely cool to be able to be here for it, for sure.
Well, thank you for making the time. I appreciate you being around with us today. Thank you very much. Oh, buddy, I'm so sorry. We talked to Frankie and Mona a little earlier, and the pandas have made their way out. I don't want to get too close to Frankie. He's having a moment here, but they came from the Twin Cities to see the pandas. Got here, and the pandas were already closed for view. So well, some cameras put, I don't want to put it in the face of a sad kid, but we'll bring you Frankie's reaction a little later on this morning as our continuous coverage continues as the pandas are making their way through the city now. The pandas are out of the zoo. Back to you.
Yeah, they're headed to the airport now, on their way. Tommy McFly, thank you so much.
Poor Frankie.
It's
Poor
so
Frankie.
sad.
It is sad.
They came all the way here, and they didn't get that last chance to say goodbye. Okay.
Well, so they're on Connecticut Avenue now. Maybe they're heading to Constitution. It'll head down to the airport that way.
Yeah, they're going to take the scenic route so that they can say goodbye to Washington, right? All 3 FedEx trucks just left the National Zoo, and they are headed to Dulles Airport. A lot of preparation went into ensuring that these pandas were safe and they were healthy and ready for this long journey to China. So now we want to go back to our Joseph Olmo, who is live at the airport, where we understand the FedEx plane that will carry them to China is about to land.
Yeah, Joseph, what are you seeing at the airport?
Yeah. Hey, Jimmy and Malek, good to be back with the both of you. Yeah, we're, I would say, a good 90 seconds away from this FedEx Boeing 777 freighter aircraft from landing. We see it lining up. Unfortunately, there's a staircase right in the way of our shot that we really can't do anything about. But any second now, you're going to be able to see that plane touch down here at one of the runways here at Dulles International Airport. It is completing a roughly 90-minute flight. It took off from Memphis, Tennessee, the FedEx World Headquarters in Memphis, Tennessee, about 90 minutes ago, and it is landing here. It's lining up on the center runway here to land any moment now. Like we've been saying, it's only going to be on the ground here at Dulles for a couple of hours. It'll be wheels up first to Alaska and then all the way to China. Got to stop in Alaska because it's a 19-hour flight. They got to refuel in Alaska. Very, very few people on board, just the essential zookeeping staff from the Smithsonian, of course, the FedEx crew themselves, and then the pandas. We are told the pandas are the only cargo on this flight. So we're standing by here. You see a couple of the planes on the runway. Any aircraft you see right now on your screen is not that FedEx plane. Okay. Unfortunately, again, I have my eyes on it because I'm standing a little bit further away from my news photographer, but any second now, I want everybody to take a look at the left-hand side of their screen, right where all those folks are standing, those aviation photographers. Right above them is a staircase. Let's keep that shot just where it is in Indira. Any second now, you're going to see the plane emerge from the right side of this staircase here, and there it is. You're looking at it live on News 4, that Boeing 777 freighter aircraft. It's a big boy coming into land at Dulles, and what'll be interesting to see here is, what it looks like. We've seen some of these special paint jobs in the aviation industry. They're called liveries, the paint job on a plane. It'll be interesting to see what special paint job, what special livery this plane has. Here it comes on final approach into Dulles International Airport, a 90-minute flight from Memphis, Tennessee. We're going to watch it touch down, and it's going to come right in front of us, folks.
Yeah. Joseph, as we're waiting for it to touch down on the runway, tell us from your vantage point, I mean, this is a normal size kind of passenger plane that maybe we would be riding. It's just specialized for the Pandas?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And Jimmy, I'll just pause right there because here we go. Watch the smoke from the tires. There you go.
Perfect.
That FedEx flight, a very special flight. We have some cheers here from the crowd. A lot of people taking videos. It has just touched down at Dulles International Airport. And look at the right of that FedEx logo there. You see the Panda. You can hear some of the cheers here in the background. That is a Boeing 777 aircraft, like many of the ones that fly across the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. This is a FedEx aircraft, so no passengers ever aboard this guy here. Here it is. Take a look. Just let this moment just sit in for a second here. Not every day you see a special FedEx aircraft like this that's going to carry 3 beloved Pandas back to China. It's going to make a right turn here, and then it's going to slowly taxi to its final position where the Pandas are going to be loaded onto it. But to answer your question more directly, Jumi, yeah, I mean, if you've ever crossed the Pacific or the Atlantic Ocean, chances are you've been on a wide-body aircraft. These are called a 777 aircraft. This one, again, is a cargo aircraft, but they have the same version for passenger aircraft. And there you go. It's just got off of the runway. It's now on a taxiway, and I believe it's going to make another right turn here on one more taxiway and then pull right up to some stairs. You see a couple people there already on the ramp in those green shirts. Those are the folks that are going to get this plane in the right position here. But, yeah, you know, not every day. Again, we've seen these planes land at Dulles before and take off from Dulles before, but it's probably going to be the last time that we see one land and take off from this airport in quite a long time. So that's it, folks. The plane is here, and we know that the Pandas are on the way, and they'll be loaded up and head back to China for a 19-hour flight. Yeah, go ahead.
This is so amazing to be able to watch live here. You introduced us to one particular Panda fan who has been to the zoo every day. What is she doing right now? Is she showing her emotions? I know we haven't loaded them up onto the cargo plane just yet, of course. How's that fan? Can you check in with her?
Yeah, I can. I wonder, unfortunately, I don't have a long enough microphone cord here right now, but we're going to keep the shot on the plane here. I'm looking at her sitting through the sunroof of her vehicle right now with 2 phones, videoing, not missing one moment. She told me she's from China originally. For the past 6 months, she says she's gone to the zoo every day that it has been open to see the Pandas, because she's known for months now, like all of us, that it was, you know, any minute now that the Pandas would be departing. And so she's taken as much time as possible to soak this up. She's got 2 phones. She says she's streaming live on social media right now as this plane comes in. And I look behind me. There's a good dozen or so professional aviation photographers with these big cameras here. Folks who come to the airport quite a bit to take pictures of all the other interesting aircraft that land at this airport. And they were not going to miss this moment. You see the FedEx plane. It looks like they're going to stop it right there. I don't know if they're going to turn it one more time. But, folks, you are looking at the plane that's got probably the world's most precious cargo on it today. 3 Pandas from the National Zoo will board that FedEx 777 aircraft and head back to China.
Very exciting. FedEx Panda Express has arrived.
The Panda Express.
Panda Express has arrived at Dulles Airport. Joseph Omo, we'll check back in just a bit.
All right, let's go ahead and check in now where the Pandas just left. The Smithsonian National Zoo here in downtown D.C. Juliana Valencia has been there since early this morning, even before
the news
if you want, I can interview one of these. Was released. It was under embargo for several hours. We knew before you did, sorry. But Juliana Valencia is live at the zoo where she's been all morning. Juliana, how is it now that the Pandas have officially left? We know the zoo will open for visitors here in about 15 minutes, but what's the feeling like right now?
Yeah, the zoo will be open, and I gotta say, I'm feeling a little excited after seeing, you know, the plane touchdown, and then we had the FedEx trucks roll onto Connecticut Avenue. How cool is that? You know, inside here, I'll say I did see this moment between two zoo staff members. It was shortly after the last Xiao Qiji had loaded onto the truck, and we had a zoo staff member approach another one, and she was in tears, and they embraced. So this is really actually a very emotional day for the zoo staff. You know, we've been getting a lot of interviews and talked to folks here at the zoo beforehand, because they were saying today they really wanted to give staff a moment to breathe, a moment to reflect on their thoughts and not give interviews today. And you know, they have been preparing these pandas for several weeks now for this long journey. They've been doing crate training exercises, rewarding them with honey flavored water to help them get comfortable with going inside of these crates. And I'll tell you, zoo staff, I was speaking with the communications director, Pamela, and she was saying the pandas did not seem stressed at all, that they were just like, okay, this is time to get back in the crate. I'm waiting for my reward, and they have plenty of rewards there on the plane. They got about 20,000 pounds of bamboo to help them on their journey, that 19-hour journey. They also have pears and apples with them so that they will not go hungry. And you know, if they need any comfort, even though it seems more that the zoo staff needs comfort over the pandas, they do have 2 zoo staff keepers with them, as well as a veterinarian. And if we can come back out here live, I do want to talk about those crates. So the crates, they were about, they have a bunch of little holes in them, so it's hard to see through the crates, but we did see one by one the crates go through to load onto that truck. So we had Mom, Mei Shan, and Tian Tian, and then Xiao Qiji. And if we are back out here live, I do want to zoom into the giant panda habitat. I mean, it is kind of bittersweet seeing this. You know, zoo guests, they're about to walk in and they're going to see that exhibit, but there's not going to be any pandas in there. And the zoo is actually moving forward with a $2.5 million renovation for the panda enclosure. They've been working on it for a couple months now, and they seem actually pretty hopeful. So the plan here is they're going to take a breath, then in about 8 to 10 months finish the renovations at the panda house, and then at that point, if there's no word about pandas coming back, then they will look at putting other animals in there temporarily. But you know, when I was speaking with the communications director, she seemed very optimistic that the pandas, you know, while we're saying goodbye, sending the 3 of them off to China, that hopefully we will see pandas come back to the National Zoo. And you know, in the meantime, if you do want to see any pandas here in the U.S., the Atlanta Zoo still has 2 pandas there, but you know, only have another year. They're leaving sometime next year as well back to China, because all the pandas that we do have in the U.S. here, they are on loan with China.
Yes, it's a very sad day here in Washington, but I know that California family who missed their chance and some others, they're making plans to go to Atlanta.
I know Frankie.
Yes.
I feel for that little boy.
Oh, yes, that was so emotional. Thank you so much, Juliana, for giving us a perspective of what things are like there right now.
I mean, just the embrace of the 2. I know we didn't see it, but you have to imagine, for some of these folks who work at the zoo, they've been with the pandas for 30-some years.
Yes.
It's like, what do you do now?
Decades long.
What's the next animal to work
Love
with?
affair and relationship and work to bring more cubs. We knew this was going to happen. We knew the pandas would be leaving D.C. before mid-November. So that prompted some people to make a final visit, to get there in time to say goodbye.
You know, we didn't know which day it would be.
Yeah.
People visiting the zoo yesterday, they didn't know it, but they were some of the last visitors to see those pandas, and Amy Cho caught up with some of the goodbyes.
Get those panda pictures while you can. Pretty soon, it's all we'll have left to remember our furry friends by.
We just came to see the pandas because I really like pandas. I wanted to say bye to the pandas because I never thought I actually saw a panda before.
Is this your first time seeing them? What do you think?
I love them. They're so cute.
And when I saw it, I'm like, oh my God, all I want to do is look at it. It almost made me cry. You know, brought tears to my eyes.
So many of us watched the pandas grow up over the years, munching away on their favorite treats and taking a snooze after all that hard work. One family flew in all the way from Nashville just for the day to say goodbye.
There he is. I've been stalking the news and Facebook every single day to make sure that they were going to be here. I was going to have to change my flight. Literally everybody I know, I've told them I'm going to see the pandas at the National Zoo.
Not everyone was quite so excited. Why do you like pandas?
I just came to visit my sister.
But for the most part, the panda passion runs strong. And some even came decked out in their furry finest.
I was like, oh, I love pandas. I want to be a panda for Halloween. And then I just started wearing it all the time when as long as the weather's okay to come see the pandas so they know that I love them.
They were the lucky ones. They got their visit in before the end.
Very, very
man.
lucky. Got those last pictures and selfies.
Yeah.
And panda hoodies.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so there are people who are still gathered outside of the National Zoo this morning. And, you know, we saw the tears, we saw the emotions, you know?
They thought that they could come and see them for one last time. Unfortunately, it was under secret. They were leaving today. Tommy McFly has been speaking with some of those people. He's live outside the zoo.
One last thing, too, to note. We've got the emotion of gratitude going on here. So we have our big panda wall we set up saying farewell to all the pandas, and people can come by and sign this all day long. If you're wondering where we are, we're right across from the National Zoo entrance. So that is right by where Baked by Yael Cake Pop Shop is, right on Connecticut Avenue. So that is where you can swing by. People have been already signing this. This wall was empty when we left to go say goodbye to the pandas. And if you want to make your way around here, Nick, we got people on all four sides of the clock tower just signing and leaving their messages. We'll miss you. We love you. Thank you, pandas. A whole bunch of gratitude going on here. And it's going to be up all day long because, of course, our panda coverage continues all day. So we can say adios to the pandas. We can say thanks to Mei Zhang, and we can say thanks to all of the pandas that are going on. Jumi, I can't hear you right now. We got a little issue going on, but I'm going to send it back to you. We got people signing, and we got people, I hear you again, and we're back. So we have all these beautiful messages. I'm going to translate this one and get back to you what this one means, but it's really neat to see people just, you know, taking a moment and sharing some love for the pandas right here on Connecticut Avenue.
I love that.
Tommy, get a pen from someone and just sign Jumi and Millette real quick since we can't make it out there. We do want our
Perfect.
names.
I will do that for you.
Yep. Thank you so much, Tommy.
Yeah.
You have to be a part of this.
Yes,
too,
we do.
you know?
I love that idea, especially for the folks who weren't able to see our pandas leave before they left, and they only got to see the crates and the FedEx trucks leave the National Zoo. So that's really good. All right. So they're on their way now to
the
Dulles
airport.
International Airport.
Yes. IAD, as they call it. We're going to check in with our Av geek, so to speak, Joseph Olmo. He is live at the airport now with more. I see you found a friend to talk to.
Yeah.
What's the latest out there?
I've found a couple friends to talk to. Yeah, you know, I can't say I'm surprised that there are so many people up here right now who want to witness this moment in Dulles history, because it's not every day that the Panda Express lands at Dulles. And these three aviation photographers know that better than anybody else. Look at these ginormous cameras that they have that they bring out all the time to Dulles, but especially on days when they know specific aircraft is going to be landing at this airport. We got Matt, we got John, we got Sunil live on News 4. All of them are aviation photographers. This is what they do, presumably, you know, as a hobby. You guys have full-time jobs, but you come out here because you share a love and a passion for aviation. Matt, I want to talk to you first. You were one of the first guys I saw up here with the big camera, taking some pictures. You know, it's not every day that the Panda Express comes to Dulles. I'm sure that's why you're out here today.
It's not. And, you know, the cool thing about this is the last one. You know, we've seen these Panda planes come in every couple of years, you know, when they take pandas to and from D.C. and back to China. But this is special. This is the last one. And, you know, we're sad to see them go, but always cool seeing something special coming into Dulles. So had to be here for it.
Dulles Airport always seems to get the special planes. We have 3 airports in the D.C. area, DCA, Dulles, and BWI, and Dulles always gets the treats for sure. I know we had the Beluga last year. Sure. I know you were there for the Beluga. John, I see you have the big camera out here today. What drove you out here today? I mean, this is not a normal Boeing 777 behind us.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've never even seen a 777 in real life before, and so this one being the first one I have seen is pretty cool. Yeah. You know, but yeah, I mean, I'm excited to be out here. I haven't been out here in a while because of work, and so it's good to get out here in the morning, get up bright and early, and see some pandas leave.
Good to link up with the community. I mean, there's literally like a dozen cars up here. Yeah. Sunil's one of them. Sunil, this is such a special day for you. You didn't bring one. You brought 2 cameras, my friend, huh?
Yeah, always prepared, always prepared. Yeah, I've been coming out to Dulles for a long time, since the 90s. And this is my 4th Panda Express plane, the first one being in 2000, I believe. So been doing this for a long time, and it's a lot of fun. And you know, we have a local group. Everybody knows everybody, and word gets around quick when there's something interesting going on. So yeah, I appreciate you guys being out here for this too. You know, so.
For sure. For those of you who don't know, I mean, the aviation community is a big one across the entire globe. People who come to airports and they're on the side of a ramp or on the side of a taxiway or a runway, and they take pictures of these planes. You ever been online to Google? These are the guys who are taking the pictures of those planes taking off, and they are here, of course, because we have that very special 777, which right now, by the looks of it, there's crew are already up there. I don't know. I can't see if they have a door open quite yet, but they definitely have the staircase up there, and they're starting their process. They got some Pandas on the way. They're precious cargo, guys. 3 Pandas are going to be on board that big wide-body aircraft. That's it. I mean, you literally have tons of cargo that normally is filled to the brim in these aircrafts. Only 3 things will be in here. 3 Pandas that we love in D.C. so very much.
Yeah, Tian, Meixiong, Xiao Qiji, they are on their way to get on the Panda Express.
On their way.
Thank you so much, Joseph Omo. Go ahead, Joseph. Did you want to say something else?
I was just going to say, I got off the phone with the TSA spokesperson. She said she believes that the 3 Pandas indeed have TSA pre-check and global entry, so they're going to be able to walk right up to the plane and have no issue whatsoever.
Thank you, Joseph.
Well, speaking of the airport, let's go to the air right now. We've got a Brad Freitas and Chopper 4 above the scene to kind of set what we're seeing right now as those 3 trucks are making their way to the airport. Brad, can you hear us? What are you seeing?
Never mind. Yeah.
67 the toll road and take their way out to Dulles Airport. And this was the scene just about 4 years ago in 2019, November of 2019, when we covered Bebe leaving town. And I was actually at the National Zoo for Bebe being born September 15th, 2015. So I've got a pretty good history with these Pandas. So it's a sad day, of course, that they're going to be leaving us. But as we watch them come down 66 to head out towards the Dulles Toll Road, we see all 3 there lined up, saying goodbye to 3 today. So a little different than 2019, but they're taking a very similar route. They went through the city this time, which was surprising. In 2019, Bebe came up Connecticut Avenue out to the Beltway. This time it looks like they took a little more scenic route through town, picked up 66 now, and about to merge onto the toll road and head on out to Dulles. And we will follow them live here from Chopper 4. This is Brad Freitas reporting live high above McLean, Virginia. Guys, back down to you.
Well, tell us about the traffic impact to all of this as they are about to hit the Dulles Toll Road. What have you been seeing?
Well, thankfully right now it's light volume, and they do have this major motorcade with 3 motorcycles that are clearing the way in front. So right now they're just about to reach the 267 split, where they're going to take the toll road out towards Dulles. So it looks like from Chopper 4, just looking out the window here, it's going to be smooth sailing with no delay as they head out to the airport and get ready to leave town.
Yeah, Brad, have to ask you, I mean, you have a great vantage point from up above, but as someone with a family, what is it like for you to be witnessing the Pandas leave? Do you all like to head to the zoo, and will you miss the Pandas as well?
We were a big Panda fan. As my daughter just turned 3, we actually tried to get down to the zoo a few weeks ago, and it was unfortunately right after they changed the hours and started closing at 3 p.m. So we missed them, but I'm going to show my daughter plenty of these photos and images, and we'll see them again, you know, on webcams, and hopefully one day we'll have Pandas back in D.C. and we'll be able to visit them at the National Zoo. So it is a sad day to see the family leaving, but the opening of a new chapter, hopefully, and we will be able to see these fine creatures again one day.
Yeah. All right. There they are on those trucks. Okay. We're going to go back to the National Zoo, to our Juliana Valencia, who watched these 3 national treasures that we call our own head on out this morning. Juliana?
Yeah, they are national treasures, Millette. Just seeing them leave one by one. And I want to show you something new that just happened here. So the zoo gates are going to open at 10 this morning, and zoo staff are already preparing to let folks know that the pandas are gone. You know, we have one gentleman there carrying one of those signs that kind of gives you information that the pandas have left. Further back there, they set up these orange barriers, and it says habitat closed for the giant panda habitat. So they're kind of letting folks, they can see it, but the pandas, they are no longer there. And this whole process, it started about 8 this morning with the mama cub. She left first, Meishan. She went right through this walk. So they had a panda walk. She was on a forklift inside a crate, and then they passed her through. Then we had about an hour later, we had Tian Tian come through. Then the last thing was little baby Xiao Qi Ji. You know, a very emotional day here for the zoo as we wish these pandas well as they head off to China.
I think I saw Frankie and his little sister back there. He was holding his little panda stuffed animal.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Sad, sad day. Juliana, thank you so much.
Sad.
Oh, goodness. Well, it's been quite the morning. We watched the 3 pandas leave the zoo, head on the road, heading towards the airport in Joseph Olmo. We're going to pause our coverage right now as we show you these live pictures from Chopper 4 and Brad Freitas as they're heading on the Dulles Toll Road. We're going to see you back for live team coverage on News 4 Midday. That begins at 11 a.m.
The Voice, new Monday and Tuesday on NBC and streaming on...
And think about when we first met, the only thing you had was the realty business.
Yes.
How many businesses do you have now?
Now I have 20.
Yeah.
And I think that this is only possible because of you. You always connected me with the right people.
For me, connecting you with the right person that can help you get from point A to point B and to see you achieve your success, it makes you feel good. And I'm looking